What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Loot Lounge. Today is episode 6. And now, I know we've been away for a while, but we had a couple of breaks in between, but we've got a nice, hefty schedule planned all out. So today we've got some awesome guests on. So today we're also going to be talking about the secrets to creating Fortnite content. And then later down the track, we're going to be chatting about some new season stuff, some teasers and all that good stuff. So today's episode is going to be pretty good. Lots in store and lots to come. But obviously, we need a co-host to help run this with me. So we've got my boy, Ben.
Hello.
How are you, Ben?
I'm alright, how are you?
Pretty good. Are you ready, bro? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been what, a month?
Nah, it's been
a
2
while.
weeks. It's been 2 weeks. Or like 2.5 weeks. It
Yeah.
felt like a month, though.
That shows you where I'm at.
Yeah. And our first guest that we've got today, the friendly person in the Fortnite community, my boy Noski.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome.
Hey, guy Noski, feeling ready?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm ready to chat it, to chop it up with you guys, and let's talk about some Fortnite.
Awesome. And we've got the old boomer, the veteran. He had a guest appearance in the first ever episode, my boy Zinc.
Howdy. Yes, the veteran. Second time, so excited.
Second time lucky, the old boomer's back.
Yep.
So like I said, we're going to be talking about like secrets to creating Fortnite content, might be a little bit of spoilers about the new season, but there's not too much in terms of leaks and stuff, so just be all public news. But first of all, for Noski here, just because he's new, we'll let you sort of introduce yourself, Noski, and explain what you do and all that good stuff.
Yes. So I am a New Zealand Fortnite creator. I make Fortnite content on YouTube. I used to stream. I don't as much anymore. I make mainly just shorts and long form content now. But yeah, some may say I could be the friendliest player in all of Fortnite. But yeah, I guess my content kind of speaks for itself when it comes to that stuff. But yeah,
go check out his content. We'll link everyone in below as well. You can go see his friendly stuff and how he spreads positivity around the community. So, how have you been, Zink? Have you been good, bro? In terms of your content and all that stuff?
Yeah, no, it's been going all right. I've been I obviously work full time, so I've been flat out on that side of things. But yeah, when I love making the content, so when I can make it, I try and pump out as much as I can.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I've been enjoying it a lot.
And for the new listeners, Zink, just sort of introduce yourself too, because there might be some new people from the first step.
Yeah, no, beautiful. Yeah, so my name's Zinko. I'm an Australian, I guess you could say, content creator. I do stream probably more than I post on YouTube and TikTok stuff. But yeah, I mainly just play some Fortnite and a few other games here and there. But yeah, the main game Fortnite. So love the game. So yeah, keep grinding.
Awesome. And so just a little heads up as well, Ben might sort of dip throughout the episode. We're not sure yet. He has to go do a couple of things. But Ben, sort of introduce yourself a little bit too, just because we've had such a big gap, we might have a bit of a new audience as well.
So pretty much I make Fortnite renders, I guess you could say. Every now and then, pretty much once a year, I might drop an animation, like the one I'm working on now. But yeah, I usually hang around the art community, I guess. And yeah.
Nice. All right, so we're going to jump onto our first question. We're going to skip some mini games and stuff and just get right into the juicy stuff. We'll go from Nosk and then Zinko and then
stuff.
Ben, so we'll do it in that order. If you guys just want to pitch in whenever as well, feel free to start discussion and stuff. But sort of how it goes. It's positive, happy place, and we're all just going to vibe out. So the first question we're going to lay down is, how do you guys find unique video ideas in terms of creating content?
Right. So the way that I kind of come up with ideas for videos is I think you can find inspiration almost anywhere, whether it be, browsing YouTube. I'm a fan of Fortnite creators myself. You know what I mean? Like, I admire these other creators, and you can kind of find, like, for example, this morning, I believe Tabor Hill uploaded a video and it was on the newest skin, and it was like a green, venomous kind of skin. And he was like, oh, did Valorant skin Viper come to Fortnite? And instantly I thought of like 3 different ideas. One being like recreating Valorant in Fortnite, becoming Valorant, agents in Fortnite, different kind of challenges. And that was just simply off seeing like a title and thumbnail. So I think you can kind of find inspiration anywhere. So I just kind of, I guess it's like a natural process almost. I think the more you do it, the better you get at it, for sure. Like, starting out, it can be a little bit difficult, and I would recommend kind of just setting out time aside to kind of brainstorm and plan thoroughly through your videos. just so it's kind of like a smoother process for you if you are kind of a new creator. But the more you practice it, you'll be surprised, the places and the things that inspire you to make
Yeah.
different videos.
And it comes naturally over a course of time as well. Like,
Yeah.
no matter
You
if
just
you're
kind of get an
new
eye
or
for it.
yeah, exactly, yeah. And you find what works for you as well throughout the process too. Zing, what do you find? How do you find unique video ideas? Or for you, more in your case, like streaming and that, do you try and set like a theme around your stream, or is it pretty just chill and you'll go from there?
Yeah, I'm probably a bit bad on this side of things where I don't really have much scheduled just because, again, with my full-time work, I try and fit streaming on the days I have off,
Yeah,
or can at night. So it's just I'm sort of rushed, and then I have some stuff planned, but then if I can't get to it, I sort of just get back on the Fortnite random squads and just have some fun doing that side of things. That's probably one thing I want to start getting better is like scheduling or brainstorming. As Noski said, just
English.
so then yeah, English, just so then I can like sort of get that down packed and get like a plan ahead. But as Noski said before, I was looking at some other YouTubers that weren't Fortnite related. Um, and saw some ideas that they had for different games. And then, like, I think it was last night, I come up with a couple of video ideas that
Yeah,
were from another game that I was like, oh, I can sort
You
of
like transfer them over.
transfer it over, but obviously put a Fortnite mix to it.
Yeah.
put your own
And
spin
that
on it.
sort of
Yeah,
way. Yeah, put your own spin and make it Fortnite related. Well, obviously you played Fortnite, but yeah, so that sort of thing. And then obviously, as Noski said as well, with the other Fortnite creators, I used to love watching them, still do. And you sort of pick off them, not fully copy them, but you sort of get ideas and sort of see if you can mix them together and make something cool. So, but yeah.
and for those that are listening to you, every person in here is going to have a unique and different answer because, like, Noski, Zing, and Ben, they all do different. They all have their own subgenres, so it's good to hear like
Yeah.
how they tackle their issues and stuff like that. So, so for now, we're gonna go on to Ben. So, Ben, how do you find unique ideas for your art? Because you're more involved with the art community. Do you have like lots of reference pieces, or do you just come to your head, or how does it go?
So, like me personally, I get a lot of inspiration from just pretty much asking my mates. I guess like, what kind of things would you like in a render? What would be cool? What skin would you like? But I do know a lot of my mates, or a lot of people in the art community, like get references. So it's got
Yeah,
like Pinterest, I think it is. Search poses, and then they find the skin they like, and pretty much apply it to that. Yeah, I find a lot of inspiration from others, I guess you could say. Like, just say I think of like, oh, I want to try and make my scene look better, for example. I would do that, and then I'll just go to my mates like, oh, what do you think I should put here? And I guess do it that way.
and that's good too
I guess
because
you
you're
could
gonna
say.
get feedback from an audience as well and a community. So that
Yeah,
does help build things
exactly.
because we might have a bit of a different outlook to then what you did being the creator. Like, for example,
Mm.
if
Yeah,
I'm doing stuff, sometimes I need to step away and then sort of come back and have a bit of a break because then I'll look at something differently and I might alter and change stuff there. So there's
Yeah.
like kind
yeah,
of that personal way, and then there's also the community from another perspective as well. So I think that
yeah.
is a
Like
good process, is getting multiple perspectives.
yeah, and there's quite a few art community like art discords out there, which also very good. Like a lot of artists will chuck in a work in progress, and they might say, show you a reference piece for posing, like how you can improve. Just lots of small things like that, and it just helps a lot with inspiration.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. So
Yeah.
this, oh, you go, Nusk?
Sorry. Oh, sorry. No, I just wanted to chip in and say, like, I think in regards to, the videos that we create, I think we're very, very lucky with Fortnite being the game that we make content on because, even within the game, like if we're struggling for ideas, there's a new season X amount of days away. There's a new skin X amount of days away. There's a new weapon coming out. There's a new
Yeah,
POI. There's a new whatever. It's just fresh content, you know, and it's recurring and it's we're getting something new like every couple weeks. It
yeah,
feels like
yeah,
sometimes, and just you might want to be the first to make a video on that specific thing, but it's kind of like the way I like to think of it is like a lot of the creators that get to it first, they just do like the simple way because they're the
yeah,
first. People want to see it. They know they're going to get eyes because they're the first to do it.
yeah,
So if you don't think you can be one of the first, maybe just take a step back, take a bit of a break, and be like, how can I make this interesting? Like, how can I put a spin on this? How can I add a little twist so that it's kind of it's a new, fresh
Yep.
way of that video, you know?
Yeah, no, I agree a lot with that. And on
Definitely.
the side that I don't like with that was like someone say like LEA puts his first video out of a new weapon or something like that, and then all the other creators do the same, and then like as a smaller creator you do it, and then you just get comments like, "Oh, you're copying them, you're copying that," but it's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's like yeah, they did it first because you know they probably got the time that they can just smash it out
And
straight
they've got a
away
whole
and
team
it's like,
behind them too, so they get it
yeah,
out a lot
yeah,
quicker.
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, where if
Yeah.
you're doing if you're obviously editing by yourself and thumbnail by yourself, recording and all that stuff, it does take a little bit of time before you could actually get it out. So
Yep.
For
Yep.
sure.
You know,
Definitely.
especially if you're working full-time jobs like yourself, myself, you know, so it's just kind of it's like thinking of it at a different angle, just thinking like, okay, so there's a new thing, you know, they're going to get it out first. How can I be the difference, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, putting like your unique touch to it on how you make content instead of just
Exactly.
just doing
Exactly.
it.
And I think I like that outlook as well because, like, for me, I'd rather put quality into something than rushing it and getting it out first. That's sort of how I've always been.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
another thing why I'm glad that I've stopped doing for those that are listening and that they might have heard me talk about in the last podcast, but I stopped doing news and now I'm kind of moving on just to more just generalized Fortnite content. Main reason being is because I felt like news started getting too repetitive and it was a bit of a race. Where now just by doing stuff where just what comes to my mind, I guess, is I kind of like creating a little story. It's just a lot more fun and you can literally do any type of content no matter
Yeah.
what's in front of you really. And I found with like news, like with the news stuff, you had to have the content in front of you. Like you had to have a skin release or a map change, etc. But if you branch out to other content, you can literally make content out of anything. It could be as small as writing vines or like going into a temple or something. Like you can literally do it out of anything and you don't have to have that direct link to like a bit of news right in front of you. So that's what I'm loving about.
And there's like you can use the other creators, sorry, as like I don't know, like don't compare yourself. Use it as like a healthy competition. But in the end, if you're just making videos for your audience and it's just kind of like you're not racing to get anything out, it's just you versus you. It's your newest video versus your last video.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's a healthier way to kind of make content. It's just you versus you getting better every time you upload, you improving. Oh, what did I do wrong this video? What can I do better? And then it just stacks. Honestly, it just stacks. You practice it and you just carry this momentum forward. And it's just you going up and just learning and evolving. And it's just, I just think it's the way to go.
No, I completely agree. And like you said, you're not racing and competing with other people as well. You kind of, and it's another good way to step back and look at your previous videos too. You can look at that and say, how can I be better than my last video? How can I improve on it, make it crisper, better quality? So, I do think like you said, it's definitely a healthier mindset to go about it with that. Sort of branching off from that section, what do you guys have like the best source of outlet for finding content ideas? Like, for example, people that do art might go on Pinterest or Facebook or stuff like that. Do you guys have a certain outlet or do you just have a generalized area that you find content from or ideas?
You want me to go first on this one?
Yeah, go. Yeah.
My kind of outlet, I guess, you know, I don't really watch television. I'm like a YouTube, Twitch, you know, whatever live stream platform, like Kick, whatever.
Yep.
I'm just kind of, you know, engulfed by watching videos. And a lot of it is like kind of tying it back to the first part, like you can kind of find, you know, your ideas anywhere. But
yeah,
you know, a lot of the times, you know, just browsing YouTube, like I might get recommended a video and it's by a creator with 100 subscribers, but it's like a really good idea. And I'm like, oh, why did this not work out? What is this to me is a good idea. Why didn't it work out? I kind of dive deep and I figure out, you know, where they went wrong. Can I add my own little twist on it? Can I bring this to Fortnite somehow? You know, can I make this into a video that I'm proud to post? I think other than that, a lot of the time video ideas come to me when I'm exercising. I think like running, when I'm running, I just kind of have a clear head. It's I'm not really thinking about anything. I'm just kind of focused on running, you know, nothing else really matters. I'm in a little bit of a struggle. And then once I get past that point, it's just like, it's just clear. Like I just feel like there's a clarity where I can just think. And
I'm big on that as well, Nos, with the running side of things. Like I reckon most of the like ideas I have either for like stream and or videos would be like, just I'm going for like, I don't know, my run on the weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
Listening to music, and then I'm like thinking as I'm running, because it's just, yeah, you're saying it's like a clear mind. You can sort of think, even though you're running and you're breathing and you're like struggling a bit. You can still get you like thinking of stuff that you can post, and then you come back and then I just write it all down on what I've been thinking about.
Yeah.
And then just go from there.
It becomes like the running part becomes like auto almost, and then it's just like a spark, a thought might spark in my brain where it's like, oh, I saw this thing on Twitter earlier today, like that just pops up in my head randomly. Like I don't know where it came from, but for some reason now that I can think clearly, it's there. You know, so yeah, I think exercise is a great outlet for that. And even afterwards, when you're usually like stressed through the day or whatever, or like whatever's bothering you, you go and have a physical struggle, you know, you against your mental, and then you come back and it's just clear and you can think clearer. I just recommend it for anyone that's kind of struggling to think, or is getting a little bit foggy in the brain when they're trying to brainstorm videos, or feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Go and have a hit out. Go for even just a walk.
Go touch some grass.
Yeah, literally go touch some grass. It's crazy how helpful it can be.
Yeah. And I think everybody has their own way to deal with that as well. Like, for example, you guys are running. Some people might be going for a swim or like doing another physical exercise. Like even for me, it just could be just sitting down, chilling, listening to music and just vibing out. And then the idea comes to me. So I think everyone does have their own different ways of doing it for how you guys have running and that, which is cool.
Mine was just the same bit on Nos, more like I barely watch TV these days. I'm either head stuck into YouTube.
What's TV? Never heard of it. No.
The only thing I probably watch is if I'm having a night off, I'll watch a movie or some sort. And it'd be just Star Wars, so it's nothing new. But and I just sort of, without even knowing, I'm sort of like picking off streamers or videos without actually knowing, and then I'll get to like say doing exercise, or the next day I'm just sitting there and I'll be like, well, they did this, like how could I spin something and make them, and sort of like join a few together. But at the time I'm just enjoying watching them. But then when I can finally think and have a clear mind, it sort of just clicks together and be like, oh, I could do this on stream or do this in a video or whatever. And then, sort of just plan it out from there.
And there's always going to be different outlets too. Like you've got obviously exercising that pops into your head, or you've got inspiration from other people. So you're always, no matter what you're doing, whether that's having time to yourself, consuming other content, you're always going to be getting ideas and stuff into your head. And I think it's, what it comes down to is some people will either ignore that or they will utilize that and take that to their advantage in terms of creating content.
Exactly. Hit it on the head, mate.
Yeah.
Hit it on the head.
Definitely. What about you, Ben? Do you like eating KFC and then getting inspired?
Okay. You say that as Dad comes in. It's very hard. A lot of it is like, you see someone else do something in a way and it's like, oh, I want to give it my go at that kind of thing. But you don't want to copy someone, so you got to pretty much make it as unique as possible. Yeah. And because let's be honest, the art community is a bit strange sometimes. Any similarities, you got to cop it. So you've got to really do it in your own way, so that's a bit hard, but it adds more to creativity, like just trying to make it your own.
Yeah.
But not gonna lie, right when I'm about to go to sleep, that's where I get a lot of my ideas.
Yes. Yep.
I find
it always happens like that.
Like Zinko says, like not Zinko, Noski's like, oh, when I'm running, and it's like for me, it's when I'm trying to sleep.
The opposite, yeah.
Ready to wind down, your brain just starts overclocking.
Yeah.
But it generally does, and so I just keep a little note thing on my phone, write the idea down, and just let my imagination run wild, I guess, because I guess I'm not worrying about anything while I'm awake. I'm not getting distracted.
I can relate to that too. That happens to me occasionally as well. And I also have at work, like I'll just be sitting down at work, like waiting for a customer to come in, and next minute, bam, the idea comes to my head and I just have to write it down in my notes. So I feel like no matter where you are or what you're doing, there's ideas going to pop in your head, whether that's seeing like a source of content or inspiration from someone, or just plain popping into your head.
Yeah. And I think another thing with me is, just in the art community in general, when just say you get a hold of a new asset, like and he's like, "Oh, I can finally make something with that."
Yeah.
That really lets a lot of people's imaginations run wild,
Like
and they
unlocks
just
a section for you,
yeah, it pretty
like a
much you
section of
learn
thought.
something. Yeah, you unlock something, or not unlock. You learn something, and it's just like your brain's like, "Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
can make this now. I can make
All the
this
things I could
now."
do.
Yeah.
It all
Yeah,
starts
like
flowing.
yeah, exactly.
I think
And
that's very similar to the Fortnite thing. Like when we get a new item or whatever, it's like, this thing comes out and automatically it's like, oh, all these things just get unlocked. All these ideas of
Mhm.
what I could do
Yep.
with a specific asset, like you were
yeah,
saying, Ben.
yeah, like I guess it's just the same. A new item. What can you do? How can you be creative? Like what challenges? Can we get a win with just this single item? So I guess it works both ways.
And sometimes I
So
find like
you,
update days can be very overwhelming for me as well because there's so much like unlocks, if you want to call it that,
Yes.
in your mind. You're
Yes.
like, oh, where do I start? What do I do first?
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. And just to touch on what you were saying, Jakey, about like the thought coming in and writing it down, man, that is
yeah.
Yes.
so important, man. When I first started out, I'd have like, well, I would think would be crazy ideas, right? But it doesn't matter because it goes into my brain and I don't write it
It's
down and it
gone.
just disappears.
Yeah.
Guys,
See,
if
what,
you are a new creator, write your ideas down.
Yep.
Whiteboard, piece of paper, in your notes,
absolutely.
anywhere, write it down. Even if you never complete that idea or never go through with it, at least you've got it there.
Because you can still reference that in the future and get inspiration from it too.
Exactly. You can
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
revert back to it.
See,
I
for
used to
me,
be.
I sorry.
No, so you go. You go. You go.
I write it as a like a checklist. So I'm pretty much I give myself a goal that I need to do it, so I
Yep.
don't kind of forget. I find that helps me a lot, like because I keep the checklist on my second page of my phone. So whenever I scroll there, I see it and I think, all right, so I need to work on this. I want to do this. This is my personal goals. This is what I would like to make. Those kind of things. I've like yeah, just pretty much writing it down. Write it down. Got an
Yeah,
idea,
that's
write it.
especially with taking notes, as Not said. It's like I used to, and probably same as Ben. Like some ideas come as I'm sort of going to bed and sleeping. Like as my eyes closed, laying there, being like, right, let's sleep. Something pops up, and I'll be like, oh, that would be so cool. Oh, don't worry, I'll write it down tomorrow, and I'll sleep through it. Wake up, and it's gone, and I'm like, what was
Gone.
that video? I
Yeah.
was like, what was that video?
Just
So
Thanos
it's just
snapped
like,
away.
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like either put it. I got two notepads now, like one on my desk here, and then one upstairs next to my bed where I'm just like,
That's smart.
think of it,
Yeah.
write it down straight away, or like
Yeah.
in the phone when I'm at work, because it's a bit different at work.
Mhm.
But yeah, I got a few just so then I don't forget, because yeah, with my brain, as soon as I wake up, it's out of there.
It's
Because even
gone.
though there's such a good idea, like you do forget. Like I've done it, and then you're like sitting there trying to remember what it is, and for the life of me, you
Yeah,
just can't remember what it was, and it's
yeah,
irritating.
It's just how the brain works. Hey,
Yeah.
like
yeah,
I think not just video ideas too, like Ben was saying, goals. Like
hmm
I think once you can think something, right, and it's like a thought and it's not real to anybody else. Nobody knows it exists except you. And even and so what you should do is write it down. Like it just becomes a real thing once you write it down. If you write it on a whiteboard in your room, every time you walk in there, it's there on the board. You
yeah,
know it's
yeah,
there. People that walk into your room see it. It becomes like this real thing. It actually, I guess you could say, it manifests. Like it goes
Yeah.
from that. It evolves. It goes from a thought to an actual thing that you can now obtain.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I
I
think
don't
that's
know.
really important.
Yeah, I don't know if you boys do this, but I probably started probably about 2 months ago. Started having like a journal slash diary sort of thing that I have separate from gaming and content creating, but it's more for like them ideas of like goals for life and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
just whatever I have, I just write it down, and then every time I go write something different in, I try and do it like once a week ish. I would like sort of flick back over what I wrote the week before, and then just see if I've like done anything with that, or if not, I'm like, oh, I've still got this. I've got this goals.
And
I've
if you
still
have
got to
achieved
reach
it
or
as well,
something like that.
you get some of the best feeling as well because you feel like
Yeah,
you've
you're like,
accomplished something.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which
It's only
that
something small, but it's good for you. It's good for
yeah.
your brain.
And that
Or
kind of
small or
leads
big, I
into
think it's
our
good.
leads
Yeah,
into our next
small.
topic as well, like motivation, because you could use that as a motivation, like whether that's IRL stuff or content stuff as well. Like what you said, Zinc, about like doing a journal and stuff. I've starting to do like it's different to a journal, but just like a calendar on like a bit of paper.
Yeah,
And I've just been writing down like what I need to get done in terms of content. Like I'll have
yeah,
like, oh, I got to work this day, this day, this day. I might have a break this day, got to record a podcast here, and just write down. And I've found that lately, it's like a bit of a new technique for me, and that's what's been helping me get motivated because I see it written
Mm.
down, and I want to complete that. Because if I complete that, I feel happy before I go to bed.
Yeah. I put one on my phone about a week ago. It's called like the weekly planner.
Oh
Exactly
yeah,
like that, but
yep.
just a phone version where like Sunday night, or say tonight or tomorrow, I'll be like go through the whole week, be like, right, it's got like separate days, and I'll just put down what I need to do, what I want to do, and then if I don't reach it, I'll just like sort of push it forward to when I think I can get there, and then it sort of just keeps you on track, without just
Yeah.
head in the clouds.
I'm the type of person that like I struggle to be motivated sometimes, but if I do complete something that I want to do, like whether that's getting a short out or a full length video, I feel so accomplished and I feel so happy that I got that done. But I find that sometimes it's a bit of a struggle
Yeah.
to get up to do it. But by writing stuff down, it's been helping me a lot.
Yeah.
And I think with like big or small, I think like starting off, especially when you wake up in the morning, even if you have a few like small little steps that you just get done, at least you're ticking something off, and it kind of builds momentum towards the bigger things that you're might be like you know, a little bit daunting or
Yeah.
kind of overwhelming, and it's just like taking a small step so you can take a jump.
Yeah, and with that, Nos, I heard this I think I heard it in high school or whatever. It was like first thing you do when you wake up, make your bed. And
Yep.
Yes.
it's
Yep.
like the reason,
Yeah, I
like
heard that.
not yeah, your parents tell you obviously to make your bed all the time, but it's for just like ticking that small thing off. I
Yep.
know it's a bed and you're putting your sheets over the top, but you sort of I leave for work. I'm like in the back of my mind, I've already like ticked something off without
Yeah.
even.
Yeah. You start your day in a
So you just
positive mindset.
yeah, and then you can just go through the day. You're like, all right, I'll tick more things off and just
Yeah,
go.
now what? Now what?
Yeah.
You know, you get like a little speed boost to start ticking off the other stuff.
Yeah,
And then even if you have like a crap day, yeah, at least you go home, you're like, oh, I made my bed, so I get to get into a nicely made
Yeah.
bed. Like I always make my
Yeah,
bed as soon as I
Exactly,
get
the
up.
silver lining.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's like a bit of a domino effect to that. If you do something like that's productive in the morning, you'll be appreciative of when you get home. That could even be like unpacking the dishwasher before you go to work, or I don't know, setting something aside, and you feel happy because you get back. You could have had a crap day, and you're like, oh, I managed to do this, so still makes you feel
Yeah.
at least a little bit happy. But do you guys have any particular methods to stay motivated? I won't go over Ben because he'll be back. He's just going to get something, but
Easy. One thing I noticed that I kind of started doing, or like I've been doing, is I'll catch myself looking back at like old videos or like old streams or just clips, and subconsciously comparing my old self to where I am now.
yeah,
And it kind of puts it in perspective of like, I think doing that puts you back into like a gratitude kind of feeling. Like it puts a grateful perspective on things. I'm like, oh, when I made this video, this is because I know physically where I was mentally, how I was thinking at that time, and now I can compare that old version of myself to where I am now and be
Yeah,
like,
yep.
dude, look how far you've come. Like imagine in another year's time, like where you're going to be. I think, you know, not getting caught up, it's tricky too, because you can get a little bit caught up in the nostalgia of it. You're like, oh man, I love those days. You know,
nostalgia
no
hits hard.
responsibility. You don't remember any of the bad stuff because it's all just good memories.
Yep.
And what they say, like the rose-colored glasses, where it's kind of like you just think of all the good stuff that happened back then, like all the even relating it to Fortnite. Like you look at the old seasons, and you're like, oh man, this season was so much fun, but you completely forget like the bugs that ruined the game, or like the hacking that happened,
Yes,
or
yep.
some event that was detrimental to the community.
That's like Season X at the moment. I've noticed it. People are loving it all of a sudden, but when we were through it, like people were hating the mechs, they were hating all these changes. So
dude.
it's
Yeah,
like,
everyone-
absolutely.
but now they're all loving it. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just saying like that, you know, I think just looking back on your old content and just kind of realigning yourself, and it's a little bit of a check, you know, you're like, oh, you might get a little bit overwhelmed with where you're at right now, but then you look back on the old you, a different version of you, and you're like, bro, look how far you've come, man. Like look how far you've come, look how far you might go. So that's one thing
like
that I found that keeps me kind of motivated. And another thing is like having the right people around you. That's a big one. I think a lot of the times you've got to be tricky with this thing, because you can get what they say, like yes men. Like you might put out a video and realistically it's not that great, but your friends want to be, I guess, supportive and be like, oh yeah man, that was a good video. Still do that, but be like, hey, this is what I thought could have, you know, had improvement. This is something that I thought maybe you could have changed. Yeah. And I think doing that helps more than just saying like, oh yeah, man, good video, like on to the next. You've got to be aware of those kind of people. Like just having the right people around you helps. And for example, like my good friend Jaykey. Me and him have kind of started together. We're working our way up together.
Yeah.
And he's always had like similar goals to me, similar visions. And whenever I'm having a whatever kind of mood day, or I might be feeling like this about a video or an idea, he's there. He's like, bro, like, why don't you try this? Or like, dude, that was he's just there to boost me up. We're lifting each other up. Same
That's
thing
good,
when he's
yeah.
having that kind of day. Surrounding yourself with those people is very important. And that's kind of two things that I guess I do to stay motivated.
Mhm.
I think motivation can be tricky because I feel like you guys might be able to relate to this, but it sort of motivation can come in waves. Like there'll
Yep,
be periods
definitely.
where you're like, oh yeah, let's go. I got home.
Yep.
I had a great day. Here we go. Motivation's high. I'm gonna make a video. Yada da da da. I make the video, whatever. 3 days later, I'm down back at that level, and I'm
I
like,
relate to that
where did
so
my
much.
motivation go? Yeah, so I feel like a lot of people can, bro. I feel
Yeah.
like that's a lot of people go through that. And I think ultimately I kind of transition my motivation, quote unquote, to discipline.
Mhm.
And it's like, can I get this video done? Or I want to get videos done. Why am I not getting these videos done? I think it's subconscious, consciously being aware of what you're doing. It's
Yes,
like,
yep.
I need to say no to going and watching TikToks for an hour or scrolling on Twitter for half an hour. It's like,
Is this aimed at me or? That's literally
hey,
me.
bro, hey, I'm not, yeah. Well, but I'm saying, like, there was a version
Yeah.
of me that did the same, and
Yep.
I still get caught up in it. It's
Yeah.
a human thing. Like, we are just wired that way to want to go and
Definitely.
get those dopamine hits and watch TikToks for an hour, or scroll Twitter or do whatever. But it's just kind of like discipline. You want to be disciplined. You want to be, I'm not feeling as good today, but here's that list, relating it back to what we just spoke about,
Mhm.
writing it down. This is what I've got to get achieved. Let's do it. And so I feel like, yeah, motivation is good, but I feel like discipline is kind of the right way to go about it.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
feel like mine's the
Sorry for rambling,
same.
geez.
I come in
It's good to
weeks.
listen.
Yeah, it's good. I come in weeks. Like I'll have 1 week where I'm fully motivated, get back from work, smash everything out, and then the week after that I'm just like on a low. So I like what you're saying, Nosk, about discipline yourself. I think I need to try and learn how to do that a bit more in order to
Yeah.
keep pushing forward.
And there's different ways to do it. And
Yeah.
you'll find like ways that work for you. I think working specific things into a routine is like massive. Like if you
Definitely.
it's hard at the start because you're not used to it. So just writing stuff down, being conscious of what you're actually doing with your time. And then once it becomes a habit, it's like game over. It's just auto mode. You're just on autopilot. You're like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, and I agree. Like, especially finding something that that suits you well, or like makes you do things at your best ability. So, like for me, like I normally edit at night because that's really the only time like I can do it after work.
I feel like
Yeah,
it's more
then
relaxing at night too.
Yeah, it is. But then I realize, like, when I'm at work, I'm like, damn, from like 8 to 11 is like the hours where like I can just go like 100%, just go crazy.
Yeah.
Like this is just at work, and I'm like, all right, let's try on the weekend and see if I can do like a Saturday, Sunday, edit a video or get a video out within them hours. And like I saw like way better than doing it at night. But that's just what suits me because I'm like, all right, my brain works better during the morning.
Yep.
Now on weekends, let's smash all my stuff out in the morning instead of doing it at night where you probably get more tired and stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all like personal, I feel like it's going to be different for everybody. You just got to find what works for you.
Definitely. I'm the opposite to that. Like I find I work better at nighttime just because like if I'm doing it throughout the day, like especially now because it's like we're coming to the end of winter and we're starting to get a couple of nice spring days at the moment. If I'm like inside editing and it's a beautiful day outside, like I feel like I'm missing out, not making the most of it. So I feel like I can utilize nighttime a bit more because I know I'm not going to miss out on anything that's happening outside. But
I feel that.
Another thing that I find to get motivated is seeing when your friends post. Like if I'm scrolling on TikTok and I see like Noski or Zink's video, and I'm using you guys because I generally do from you guys, is like I'll see one of your guys' TikToks and videos and it just like hits me in the chest like, oh, I need to post, I need to do something because I just see that you guys are posting and making content. And then it makes me happy seeing that my friends are too. So like it kind of motivates me to do it. And then another big heavy hitter was with Nosk when you posted your video the other day with the friendly stuff and that. Like I saw that and I was like, damn, I need to get a video out because like I don't know, just when I see other people's videos, it just really like gets me going and motivates me. So I find that's a really big tactic I've found lately too.
Yeah, that was I was speaking to Bubbly about this. I think I was streaming that night you posted, Noski,
Mm.
And it's just like I had a shit day at work, blah blah blah, and then like just wasn't as motivated that night. And then Bobby come in, he was like, "Oh, Noski posted his new video," and I'm like, "I'll watch it tonight once I get off." And then just didn't even edit after, like I was just mentally drained.
Yeah.
Then went and watched your video after, and then legit, like I even told Bobby, I was like, "Man, like one of the best
This is
videos
great.
I've seen." And then like the next day, I was just like, in the morning, I was like, "Right, smash out work, let's get home." It's like
Oh,
grinding. And I think I
bro.
like smashed out 2 videos that Arvo just from like,
Let's
no,
go.
yeah, no joke. I was
Dude,
like
that's
watching,
awesome.
yeah,
Bro, I love hearing that, bro. I love hearing
yeah,
that. Like from both of you, like both of you guys. Like, and I think the reason it kind of happens is because, you might watch like a creator that you are a fan of, but you don't really know them, and they upload and it's like, oh cool, I got this video, I get inspired by it or whatever. But I think that's why like having friends that are in the creator space and just like branching out, and like even this podcast, like Jaykey, you were saying before we started recording, like the opportunities you have to speak to other creators.
Yeah,
I
yep.
think because you kind of can connect with them on a personal basis. Like we haven't met each other, but I would still consider you guys like friends of mine, right? Like, we
Yep.
know each other, we play games together,
Yeah.
we bounce ideas off each other, we support each other. And I think just because you're like, oh, I know this person and they did that, I can do that too.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Like even I also find I'll chuck up Zinc's stream because like every time Zinc streams usually when I'm editing, so I'll chuck up his stream and watch him stream while I'm editing, and I feel like that gives me like a boost of motivation too. And like,
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm not just saying that because you guys are in here, but it's generally you two. Sometimes when I see Clark's videos as well, when he was on the podcast a couple of episodes ago on that, there's just specific people that I see, and it just really gives me like a boost of like motivation. So
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm the same. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
yeah, definitely.
Like, and it goes with like when I first started making content and streaming, like like the way I saw when I used to watch Laserbeam's videos, and then people just commenting saying like, "Oh, like you're the best, Laserbeam. Like, you keep me motivated doing things. You've helped me, blah blah blah." I was like,
Mm.
"Damn, I want to make content not as well for myself, like to enjoy it, but to help other people. Have a like break from whatever's going on in life, just for like, say if it's 5 minutes, they come in to stream and
Yeah.
then just like chat for 5 minutes, and then they go back off and do whatever they need, just to as we're saying, like motivate others as well, not only ourselves."
Yeah, definitely. 100%. Do you guys find that your enjoyment, so we're sort of like linking it into the Fortnite scene now, do you guys find that your enjoyment with each season, for example, like if you're really enjoying a season or you really hate it, do you find that sort of determines how much content you produce, or do you find that doesn't really have an impact on you at all?
Zinko, I'll let you take this one
Yeah,
first,
I'll
homie.
take this. Yeah, no, it's fine.
Jump in. I've been
Yeah.
rambling, my bad.
Nah, dude, loved it. For me, especially for streaming, I don't really have a problem with whatever's in the season. I know a lot of streamers and stuff complain, like, "Oh, there's nothing new to do,"
Welcome to
but
Twitter.
I sort of just I sort of just like try and make it fun playing it, whether it's just a pub game, like, or random squads, or I get the viewers in and have some games. The content stuff is more for my video side of things, but for streaming, it's just like doesn't really affect it. Obviously, there's stuff where they bring in which is fun, and you can like do things with it on stream and stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't reckon it has a big downfall for me. I think it's just
Okay.
I just try and make it as fun as I can, I reckon.
Yep.
I think if you base your enjoyment off certain things that come to the game, you can kind of be let down a little bit. Like if like Zinko was saying, like he's chilling, man. If he's got the homies in and he's just playing some games, regardless of what items are in the game that are ruining it for other people or whatever, he can still supply that energy. They can bounce off each other, have a ton of fun, and just vibe out. And I think doing stuff like that is important because it doesn't matter. It's kind of like regardless of what in game is happening, you can still kind of enjoy the game.
Yeah.
I know personally, like in previous seasons, like you were saying before with Season X, like the mech era was
Oh yeah.
like, struggling, like we struggled through that. And I think there's definitely dips for sure. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of a lot of other ones, but I definitely know there's been periods of time where a specific item will come into the game and it's like, oh, here we go. Like, what's going on here? How's this going to play out? How's this going to pan out? But I think yeah, ultimately, if you it can depend on the type of player you are as well. I think if you're more of a competitive player, it affects you a lot more. Obviously, when a specific item comes out in Fortnite, if it's put in competitive and casual, you see a lot of the competitive players chirp up because it's almost like a completely different mindset when you're playing the game. You know, you've got this competitive drive and you're like ready to grind and get your earnings and compete and win tournaments, and
Yep.
then some item gets put in the game randomly that just completely ruins it
Ruins
for
it,
you.
yep.
Like, oh dude, all my momentum is gone. Like, I'm just getting griefed by this weapon or
Yeah.
whatever it is. But with a casual, it's kind of like, oh dude, what the hell? A new
Yeah.
laser item? Hell yeah, I'm just running
Yeah,
around.
yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
different mindset. But yeah, I don't, for me personally, it doesn't bother me too much.
Mhm.
I do have my moments where I'm like, I'll get killed by a specific or
Oh yeah.
eliminated by like a weapon, and I'm like, oh wow, I kind of got beamed there. Like, what's going on there? Or you know, I have my moments, but ultimately, I think it just depends on the kind of mindset you have when you're playing the game.
Yeah, definitely. Like for me, coming from being a news page, and I keep relating to that because I'm slowly like in the process of switching content a bit. I still cover
Yeah.
slight news and that, but I'm just trying to branch out a bit more. But when you are on the news side of things or leaks, it's just like you have to rely on Fortnite giving you content in order to produce content because you're covering the news that they're giving you and the leaks that they're giving you. So that's why
Mm.
like on update days, you'll be on such like a high because there was so much content coming in, it would set you up for like the next couple of days. But when
Yeah.
you have dry periods, like for example, the summer event that just went past, like there's nothing to cover content on because it's so dry. And that's sort of
Yeah.
a thing that sort of woke me up to slowly integrate some more different style of content is because like I don't want those dry periods. I want to be trying to produce all the time. So yeah, I found that when I was a news page, it did really affect me a lot. But now it's sort of like I'll find content in the small little things here and there that aren't necessarily new. They could have been in the game for like
Mm.
ages. So
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle. Sometimes it used to, but now it doesn't as much. But it can still also determine my motivation because if I'm in love with the game, I'm going to be wanting to produce content more. But when I'm sort of on a bit of a low when the season's a bit dry, I sort of shy off a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
try and deal with that as much as I can. But yeah,
Yeah. And that was through like a player perspective, but touching on like more of a creator perspective. Like, no, I've had conversations with other creators where it's kind of like the game feels dry and nothing's really happening to the game, or there's been no changes for a little bit, and they're like, oh, you know, when's the next item coming so I can make a video, or when's the next change coming so I can make a video. I think it's important to kind of plan your content in a way where regardless of whether the game is popping, whether there's a new item or not, you can just go to that list and pick a cool challenge idea with your twists on it that you can complete then and then. It doesn't necessarily matter what item is in the game, or it doesn't rely on an item change, or doesn't rely on, you know, a new POI being added or whatever. I
yeah,
think that's really important to do because I know a lot of like we were saying earlier, a lot of, you know, creators, a new weapon comes out, they'll jump on it and that's like a video for them. But I think it's the times in between those moments when the content is quote unquote easy because it's just kind
yes,
of
yeah,
handed to you by Epic Games on a
Yeah.
silver platter. It's like, new item, here you go. And then everyone's like, hell yeah, time to make a video. I
yeah.
think it's important on the times in between that to have content ready to go. And I think that's comes into planning and preparing for it.
And I think that's where you
Yeah.
see the most growth as well is that in between stage, not necessarily when something's fresh and new, because that's what your
Yep.
audience gravitates towards. Like, okay, they're giving us content when when Fortnite's dead. So being able to
Yep.
watch and enjoy something that they're producing, that's those in between stages are crucial in my opinion.
Absolutely.
I was like, no, so you literally just said what I was thinking of with like, especially with a gun, or like a weapon. Sorry, Fortnite might not bring one out like a new weapon or a weapon back in for who knows, like a couple of weeks or a month or so. And
Yeah.
you hear players like, oh, you know, they're not bringing anything in, but like you sort of got to make do with what you got. And like you were saying there, Jake, with making videos in between
Yeah,
updates and stuff like that. That's where I think the good YouTubers shine, where they
definitely.
don't,
Yeah,
like you're saying,
For
you don't,
sure.
yeah, you don't need, yeah, as you were saying before, probably repeating what you're saying, but don't need the new POI, the new weapon. You can just make do what you got, and then just follow on from there. And then obviously when the new stuff comes out, you can jump on that train. But yeah, if you can make stuff with what's in the game that's not constantly coming out, is I think where the good YouTubers stand out the most.
Absolutely, bro.
yeah. Definitely. Yeah. And that's sort of, I think, the last couple of years where you've seen growth in certain creators over others as well, because they've managed to find that little technique as well with keeping their audience entertained and giving them content when it's a dry stale period in Fortnite. Because Fortnite does get like that sometimes, especially when obviously Epic, they need their break and stuff. But like when they do, sometimes they don't give us the most content we could have. It could just be like a little mini event that's just they try and give us just to keep us entertained. But because we're hungry for content all the time, we get really bored in those periods. So being able to keep your audience entertained through that, it's good. So
yeah.
Alrighty, so sort of moving on to the next question / topic. How long do you guys see yourself creating Fortnite content? Could you guys see yourself until Fortnite dies off forever?
Forever.
That was a good answer.
Forever, man. It's legit.
No, dude.
I love it.
Yeah, Zenko, you go first, homie.
Yeah. Like, man, I was thinking about it early today because I had come up with this like sort of new, you could say like series or like
Oh,
idea
okay.
that
Yep.
I want to do, and especially with the new creative stuff coming out, there's so much you can do with it, and
Definitely.
videos you can make on it where it just doesn't have to be on the battle royale type videos. Like you can go in the creative world and find a lot of different games there. And I think with that, like the amount of games people can make in there, you can just feed off them videos, and I don't think that's gonna die off anytime soon. Even the game itself, the battle royale side of things, that's definitely not going to die off. As you were seeing people saying a couple of years ago that Fortnite's dying off, Fortnite's dead, and look at it now. I think it's still thriving.
Definitely.
Till it's time. So as long as the game's out, I reckon I'll still be making content.
There's still periods like where the content's going to be sort of like semi-dry and stuff, but like Fortnite always comes back and has its peak moments, whether that's like an event or something. So your interest is always going to be peaked, even though there could be a flop season. And UEFN has like opened such a big door to staying entertained.
Oh, dude.
Like I know Purex and Zombie, they literally just play the crap ton out of UEFN because there's so much and it's so unique now. So, and there's also like Elite Racing mode that could be coming out, like similar to Mario Kart.
I did say that.
So imagine if that comes out, like that's going to be epic. That's going to be sick.
Oh, dude. Like, if you'd asked me this question about whether I would still be making Fortnite content or like when I would stop before UEFN came out, I would probably have like a different kind of answer.
Yeah,
but
100%.
even then, like, dude, with that announcement, just the ideas and the possibilities is insane, dude. Like it doesn't, some of these maps that I'm playing doesn't even feel like Fortnite. And
Exactly.
I've had conversations with friends of mine that create as well, where we're like, oh, okay, we've been playing this game for what, 6 years now. We've played the hell out of Battle Royale, which changes, the environment changes, the things we use change.
Yep.
We get different mechanics. There's a new update like almost every 2 weeks. There is no other game that I know of that does that. That like Epic Games redefined how gaming kind of is in that perspective. Like it feels like a fresh game every now and then, or they're just touching it up. Like they're adding a new color or a new feel to the game.
Exactly. Yep.
And with UEFN, like I was saying, we've had conversations about it. We've played it for 6 years. What about in 4 years' time when we can go into an open world with our friends and we can complete quests
that'd be sick.
together and you know, it's already kind of pushing towards that, but
it is, yeah.
oh, we can jump in and we can play golf together, or like that's already starting to become a possibility. And I'm just super excited to see what, you know, I mean, there's some talented people in the Fortnite community, and it's going to be insane what we are able to create content on, play, make in the next couple years, man. Like they're exciting times.
Definitely. And that's their goal as well, I think, Fortnite, is to have a bit of an open sandbox with UEFN, because now you have this open slate. And when UEFN originally came out, I was thinking, okay, it's going to be just a little bit better than creative. But when I saw like what people are making with like, especially some of these horror maps and how they can have the custom like characters and bosses and all that, like it exceeded my expectations. Like I was blown away with how much you can actually do with it. And obviously, like as time's going to go on too, it's going to slowly improve and get better and better and better. Like you said, Nos, to eventually probably have like a big open world where we can just add and implement, have our own like forever changing sandbox, just like how they are doing with Battle Royale. So it's definitely opened up like a gateway of stuff for future content. And then they can also expand off that by creating other game modes that branch off from UEFN too, kind of like this racing mode. So there's so much to come, which is sick, because it's very promising for the future, and especially for content creators as well, just to like not give up and keep pushing forward.
Absolutely. And I feel like like I'll take a game like GTA 5 for example, right? Like this game is like a really rich history. The game has been out for like 10 years. That game isn't like super it's not like Fortnite. Like it's kind of, you just have your standard Grand Theft Auto, and you have your missions and stuff like that. You might get new cars or whatever. Then they bring out this role play, this whole role play
Yeah.
community, which is
Yeah.
insane, by the way. They bring out 5M. You can do all these kind of modding stuff. Like you see all the old videos from like Vanos and stuff where they did like crazy mods, and there's like just insane stuff. And that's been out for 10 years and people are still playing that.
Yeah.
And whenever I hear someone like, oh, Fortnite's going to die, like Fortnite's dead, something, there may be like a giant event that happens where, something occurs and the game shuts down or whatever. But,
Yep.
I feel like that's such a low percentage chance of happening. Just looking back at GTA, like we've been around 6 years, and then UEFN comes out and opens up all like just an insane amount of possibilities. I just feel like it's going to be hard for it to die.
Definitely, yeah. It's a good thing. Fortnite's going to be forever adapting, expanding, and changing. Like, if you look at Chapter 1 when they first introduced creative, like, it has come a long way to what we have now. So,
Oh, absolutely.
it's just a forever changing ecosystem, which is sick because the content's not going to die off. And like you said, also, you have those people out there that are saying, oh, Fortnite's dying, blah, 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 blah. But you might have these period in times where it does, where it might be a bit of a season that people might not appreciate or enjoy as much. But there's more than just a Battle Royale island now, which can create content through and just enjoy and have fun.
Yeah, I reckon like that. Like people might maybe fall off on the battle royale side of things, but then with that creative stuff, like they might move just from the normal battle royale straight into there and find a game within the UEFN
Yeah.
that they like, that that's their new game, but it's still Fortnite based.
Yeah.
They just don't want to do that battle royale type game anymore. But it might be something different. Like you obviously look at it there. There's millions of games. Well, not millions, but there's a lot of games there now that are different to the battle royale, but are Fortnite based.
Yep.
Which still
Yep.
makes you feel like you're playing Fortnite, but you're doing something different, which is good. Which is
That's
crazy as well.
Agreed. I
forever
agree. I'm
changing, and
excited.
it's good. I think Ben's back. Ben, do you see yourself creating Fortnite
Yeah.
content forever?
Until further notice, yeah. I don't see why I wouldn't
Yeah.
anymore. Don't think the game's gonna die anytime soon. And yeah, just constant content out there. So
Yeah,
I don't see
definitely.
myself stopping. I could wear myself out if I just like naturally wear myself out, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I said,
And I
don't know
feel
when
like for
that's
you,
gonna
with an art perspective as well, like Fortnite's always introducing new skins and stuff too, which you can utilize that to creating an art piece because a certain skin might come out, could be a storyline skin, and you want to create like an art piece to match up with that. And that's something that
Yeah.
Fortnite's never going to stop doing, as well as releasing skins, because they want characters, collaborations, franchises all in the game. So from an art perspective for you, I feel like you can utilize the skins as being consistent content in order to create pieces.
Yeah, like also something Fortnite does is like you said, with constant new collabs, it gives you the opportunity to work like with that content without kind of dealing with copyright issues.
Yes, yep.
Mm.
Like you can use the Fortnite assets to make something without like dealing with downloading it off somewhere or whatever. And yeah, so that gives you the opportunity to actually create stuff constantly, I guess you could say.
And it's good. Like, it just shows that Fortnite's forever evolving and changing, and we're going to have consistent content. So if you are listening and you do want to make content, like, it's never too late. Just jump on and start doing it, because Fortnite's going to be
Get
around
stuck
forever.
in.
Like, do
Start
it.
now.
And there's
Start now.
so many tools now to utilize, and you can grow and just be unique and do what you want to do. So, yeah. And that kind of leads into our next question as well, in terms of creating content. What's your guys' favorite part or favorite process about creating content?
Do you want me to? Oh, mine's. I love the streaming part of things. So I don't know. I just like having fun. I was never much of a gamer. Back in my younger days, I was I was a lot outside, and I was a lot I'm still into sports, but
The
I was
athlete.
more. Yeah, I was more of a outside kid. It wasn't until I was probably, to be honest, 18, where I bought my first PlayStation and
Oh,
then started
wow.
playing games. Yeah, so
Usually it's the opposite way around, isn't it, though? Like, you'll be
Yeah.
somebody that's always been a gamer, and then you grow out of it, but you're the opposite.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was the opposite, where I sort of have a good, balance of sport and creating. But
Yep.
I don't know. I'm still learning a lot as I'm making or creating content now, because I don't know if I haven't missed a lot to the 18 years that I didn't get into gaming, but I'm still learning heaps as I'm going through now. So the more I'm learning about gaming and creating content is the most enjoyable part, I think. Like, yeah, I just love learning. So, you know, learning different parts of stream or different parts of creating a video. Yeah, I think that's the best part for me as of yet anyway.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would agree. I think there's like my favorite part about making videos is like Zinko was saying, there's a part of you where it's away from like the other stuff you do in your day-to-day life, and it's like a part of you that you can kind of work on, and you can mold, and you can sculpt, you can improve, you can evolve. It's like a little part of you that you're kind of harnessing, where, or I don't know, it's like almost like a little like a character, like a different version of you, where you start at level 0 and you're like, okay, I've been playing games, you know, some people play them casually, and then you kind of creep into that, like, oh, what if I like made a video here or there, and then you start, and since that point of starting, you just kind of level up, and, and this part of you grows, and you can kind of, I don't know, you can learn a lot. I feel like you can learn a lot about yourself. You can build your skill set. You can learn a lot about the way, you know, certain aspects of creativity work.
Yeah.
And then that leads into other aspects like the business side of stuff and the management side of stuff. And I just feel like you can have, it's hard. I'm trying to find the right words to describe it.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean by that. Like, if I'm being like dead honest, I don't reckon I would be not the person I am now, but the way I go about things. If I didn't turn that stream on on my PS4 back in the day, because I was probably a very shy kid back in the day. Even when I first started my first stream, like, people come in the chat and I'd like be too scared to talk to them.
Oh, dude, it's nerve-wracking. That first time, like you never forget it. I feel like you never forget it.
Yeah, and
that helps you
then,
grow
like,
as well throughout that.
Yeah, exactly. Then you get through now where, like, I never thought I'd have a webcam, and then I was like, all right, first time webcam on, and then like you sort of grow, like you sort of just like, oh, I can do this, like, and people watching you, like, then when you go into like real world, when I mean like you go out.
No, I know what you're saying.
The outside world.
IRL, bro. IRL.
In real life, you're more confident in doing things. Anyway, that's what
I agree. I agree with that. Like, being able to speak out, like, especially even doing like the Loot Lounge, which was quite recently, like, that's just helped me within confidence and talking to people at work and just random people as well. So like little things that you do online can correlate to like outside stuff, IRL stuff. And yeah, it's crazy how it works. Like, it's definitely brought me out my comfort zone, which helps sort of brings me out of my comfort zone IRL as well. And then when Nosky was talking about like leveling up per se, I find the milestones along the way kind of help you step up to the next level. Like, whether that's, I don't know, getting a lot of views or meeting somebody or doing certain things here and there, that helps you sort of progress and level up to your next like journey ahead. So there's lots of things along the way that can help like benefit it as well. And also there's a lot of things that are negative as well that can have a positive impact as well. So it doesn't always have to be like positive and happy-go-lucky along the way. Because there can be experiences that could be a bit scary or frightening, but it can help you grow for the future.
Yeah, you'll get hurdles. You know, there's ups and downs. That's just how life is. You just got to ride the wave.
Definitely. And
understanding that is like, once you understand that, it just gets so much easier. You're like, oh, I understand I'm going to have some bad moments and, you know, feel a bit down sometimes. And I understand that I'm going to have crazy highs. And it's just like, you just ride it, man. It's just, it is literally just a wave. You go up and down and you just keep working forward. Like, as long as you keep moving forward. Keep moving forward, you know? But yeah, I think another part of what I enjoy about creating content is the fact that, you know, whether it be one person or 100 people or 1,000 or 10,000, I have the opportunity when someone sees my video to positively impact that person's life in some way. And you become aware of how impressionable, especially a young audience can be, you know, and I think of like a younger version of myself, and I'm like, when I was that age, you know, I would pick specific people to look up to. These people would be my role models. They kind of helped shape the way that I did certain things in life, you know? Like I still remember watching certain streams, like even though, you know, I'm in my 20s now, being in my late teens and watching specific streamers, and I'm going through like a crucial part of my life where lots of things are changing. and those creators had an impact on me. And I think the favorite part about when I create is the fact that I get to do something that I enjoy. I get to create something. I get to see something that started as a little thought in my brain grow and mold and curate into this like project / video. And then that's out there in the world now. And then that has an impact on other people. And the fact that I can make it in a way where it's positive and it's uplifting and it's encouraging, and someone will see that and be like, hey, I was having a bad day. I saw this video. It made me feel better. At the very minimum, to the extent of, wow, this video was incredible, or this stream is incredible. I feel inspired. I feel motivated. This has given me the encouraging feeling to go and achieve something that maybe I didn't think I could do, or think that I could attempt.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. Like, you see comments, man, and it's like,
Oh, dude, comments of
oh, bro,
massive,
it's
man.
such a good feeling. Like,
Comments are definitely an up boost. It's great.
dude, you kind of, there's a little bit of a disconnect because it's just because you see words on a screen, but if you think hard enough about it, you're like, there's a person behind this comment that's sitting on their phone at their computer that was willing to type that and kind of share their emotion and their energy with you. And it's like, that's the best thing ever, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's the best feeling.
Yeah, with comments like that, like I sort of think of it like I put myself, like a young version of me being like, I wouldn't comment it, but like me thinking that of, say, watching a video or watching a streamer, and me just thinking that, and then that's like, I'm like, how would I feel? And I'm like, damn, that would make me feel sick. And they're actually saying it to you.
It's cool.
And then you're like, damn, that actually,
that
probably
motivates you to keep pushing. Yeah, keep pushing forward. Yeah,
massively.
which is great.
Yeah.
So there's so many little things out there that can be the smallest thing. It literally could just be saying, "Oh, I love your content," or it could be somebody reaching out in DMs, but whatever. It just little things like that can just make you feel like on top of the world and have such a high feeling.
Yeah, it's a great feeling. It's 'cause, I mean, you never know what people are going through, and it's like,
Exactly.
I'm just doing what I enjoy. I would be doing this anyway. The fact that it's impacted someone in a positive light or taken their mind off something or whatever is just like unreal.
Yeah.
It's just unreal.
Definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
And then just like the last thing for me, especially for streaming and stuff like that, is my mindset probably like 2 years ago, like in real life, like personally. But then when I started streaming, it was like, as long as I make someone smile or laugh, I can rest easy.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
as long as someone comes in and
That's
has
your
a
goal.
laugh in my stream, or if they like happy about a video or makes them happy or whatever, I'm just like, I've ticked one small box for that day or whatever. And I can keep moving forward, which is it's good.
Definitely. Yeah.
Love it, bro. Love it.
So that's sort of like that all there. Everything we've sort of been discussed on the last hour has been like so-called secrets of creating content, whether you guys want to utilize all this information or go on your own journey and stuff. It's all here public, so you guys can listen to it, and whether you're getting inspiration or anything, it's all here. I do want to stretch out a little bit more just because I want to give you guys a bit of a taste of what's to come in a future episode for the potty. But we're just going to sort of just briefly touch. I've sent to a group chat for you guys. It's just briefly touch on a couple of spoilers because, not spoilers, sorry, teasers, because season 4 is literally just around the corner, like just under 2 weeks. And I've got planned a big potty episode with like theorizing what the season's going to be, covering all the leaks, info and all that. So I just want to get your guys' opinions, who's with me today, and sort of just talk a little bit about it. For those that don't know, probably would have been a day or two ago. If you guys check the group chat, there is like a little frame and it has a moon in it, a red moon, which is, I guess, symbolizing an eclipse. What do you guys think of that? Does it get you excited? Are you a bit like, what's your thoughts?
Start us off, Benny.
I'm very hyped because usually when Fortnite do in real life teasers, that means one of their best seasons is about to come.
That's true.
Like with chapter 2, season 2, they really hyped up the in real life stuff,
Phone
like, all over the
calls
world.
and all that. Yep.
Yeah, phone calls, all of that stuff. That was so good. They did it again. Was that the?
They did chapter 2, season 7 with all the alien stuff with the crop circles and all that.
Yeah, that was also
right.
really sick. And then we got a really good season after that. And now we've got this. So they've gone off track record. So I can't know that this is going to be a banger. So
Promising.
I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, it's really promising.
Yeah, like we discussed in past podcasts, like we've found if they're doing early IRL teasers and they go big on the teasers, it's usually going to be a really good season. It's had like a consistent track record. And for
Yeah.
example, like with
Ooh.
Chapter 2, Season 7, that was great. And they started doing teasers like 2 weeks in advance and that. Don't get me wrong, they still do IRL teasers on billboards and stuff, but it's not as interactive as like sending stuff to creators and all that. So,
Yeah. And this whole moon stuff, I'm very, very curious about. Like, does that mean they're gonna that the island's gonna absolutely change? Are we gonna be going on to this moon? Will we get an event with it? There's so many things that I'm really looking forward to because there's we know like big things are going to happen, but we don't know what big things are going to happen.
yeah.
And the only teasers we got are extremely subtle, like a moon. That's
Yeah.
about it.
And fingers crossed we don't get any leaks or like massive leaks. Like,
Yeah,
I
that's what
enjoy
I'm
it, but I hate it
happy
at the
about.
same time.
Yeah, I like we don't have any like this is exactly what's happening. This is exactly what's going to be in the battle pass.
Yeah.
I'm glad we don't have any of that yet.
So far,
Oh,
touch
I
wood.
don't really want to know. Yeah, I don't want to know anything about it. If it comes out 2 days before, that's it. I'm not going on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm very looking forward to next season.
Does stuff like this, Noskins, think, does this get you guys hyped for the future?
Yeah, you know what? The first thing I looked at when you sent the one with like the moon,
Yep.
like the frame, I was just like, "Is it Moon Knight? Is that his name?" I was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Moon Knight." That's just like the first thing that
Yeah.
comes to my head. Like I think I said like the first party I was in, I'm sort of like lost on the storyline just because I probably haven't been paying attention to it.
Mhm.
And then especially with these leaks, like I'm the worst with like trying to figure out what it exactly means and or like where they're getting at. I love looking at it, and then I sort of like watching people speculate on like what actually it might mean, and then you start thinking like, oh, it could actually mean that could be cool, but yeah, other than that, yeah, I just that was the first thing that came to my head was Moon Knight.
Yeah. I
But
will.
I know he's already in the game.
I
Anyway,
will
but
say
yeah.
something a little bit later on too. That might get you excited, and it's something that I saw on Twitter today. But yeah, I'll talk about it soon.
Yeah.
But if you guys see in the group chat as well, you'll see that. So there's two things from Donald Mustard. So one of them is his banner, which you'll see a nice like lake, river, and you can see like the red sun or moon coming up. Now that banner that he did has been on there for at least a couple of months. So he has gone ahead and teased this, and then the next one too, it's the red fire. So we didn't really know what that meant up until we got that teaser from the Brazilian content creator. So
Yep.
it just proves that Donald, especially with that banner, since it's been like a couple of months in advance, he has been teasing this specific season for such a long time. So that kind of gives me hope for being like a
Yeah.
banger season.
Donny boy.
He's smart.
He's a genius.
Yeah.
Like,
He's it's awesome. Like I feel like there's levels to Fortnite fans when it comes to like the story mode. Like you either have no idea what's going on, you kind of see the leaks and you like to theorize and stuff, or you're literally deep in it and you're like, yeah, this dot over here and this color equals this times the sun equal, you know like every nook and cranny about what's going on.
yeah.
Me, I kind of sit in the middle. I'm kind of like not really sure what's going on, but whenever I do my quests in game, I'm like taking notes of like things that people are saying or what characters are saying or what's going on. For example, the in game right now where there's like a giant laser on the map and it's like projecting astrology signs into the sky, and then we get like this IRL teaser on Twitter and it's like, oh crap, like something's happening, man, like something's happening, you know. Are we theorizing this podcast, or do we have to leave that for
If you want to touch on a little bit, I'm more than happy to hear what you guys have to say. If you have any theories or ideas,
Based off this stuff, I would like to theorize that it does have something to do with space and eclipsing, and the fact that it's red. I think possibly parts of the map might become scorched, or it might be kind of like almost like a Mars type environment, but on the Battle Royale island. I mean, but dude, who bloody knows? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
They could do some crazy stuff, and they have done in the past. So regardless, if we get a lot of leaks, and I kind of, leaks, I feel like leaks are good and bad, because if you see some and you're like, oh, it gets me excited. For some people, it might ruin it, but for me, I just kind of try and see the positive side of it. If something gets leaked and it's like a collab or whatever, I'm like, oh, cool, that's coming to the game.
Yeah.
If it's like an item that gets leaked, it gets me hyped for the season, and I'm just looking forward to whatever new thing Epic Games is throwing at us. So
yeah.
I
I think the thing for me, especially with this season, is like knowing that Donald Mustard has done this banner for such a long time now. And there are little subtle hints we've picked up, like if you sort of dig in more into it, that he sort of mentioned about this specific season coming up. It just gets me excited knowing that because it's been teasing it for such a long time, is this going to be a really big season? Like it's going to be, it's going to be incredible.
Like he's invested in it,
Yeah.
you know, which means like he's obviously excited.
Yep. And if you've looked at like past stuff as well, he's done that for really big seasons that have just worked out phenomenal. So it's promising.
I'd just like to add a few things. Something that I saw someone post last night, which was very interesting and shows just how far ahead they plan. I think it's season 1 of this chapter. There's a quest where you have to line up the moon phases.
Yeah.
No one knew what that was for. And then here we go. We've got a big moon kind of thing happening.
So they've been
just-
cooking.
Yeah, so
I
because that was just like, what is this for? And then it's like, oh my god, you planned this. it ties directly in. It's like, oh, there
It all
you go.
lines up.
Because you get some theorists, it's like, well, you've got to be making that up. What's that got to do with anything? And it's like, oh wow, it's legit lining up.
Yeah.
And I'd also like to add, I think like a month ago, Fortnite said there's something big coming at the end of this year. It's like, so does that mean this season is preparation for that, but also is going to be a big season anyway?
Oh yeah.
Like, it's like just say this is the end of this map. Are they going to make it like absolutely awesome where just so many things are happening? I'll theorize for another episode, but yeah, there's just so many cool things that I think might happen so very soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, if you guys remember, in what season was it? Chapter 3, Season 3. I did send the image that has like 2 characters. The Ronin skin. He has the exact same logo on his chest than what the teaser is. So just think that was almost a whole year, or I think it was over a year ago, and that character is linking to this current season now. So it's crazy how far they plan ahead. And then with that comparison with the Ronin skin, and there's like another red girl. She's another survey leak, so they reckon that she might be sort of in relation to the upcoming battle pass because she has the same like logos and all that on her. So it just shows how far ahead they've been planning. It's crazy.
Yeah, I reckon there's no doubt that they've like planned. I reckon like at least a year to 2 years in advance for like
definitely,
every
yeah.
season. They like and they probably have to with what they like got to like bring out.
Yeah.
But like it's just crazy how you think like the game's like good, like enjoyable now. And what they've probably thought about in 2 years, they're probably that excited to bring it out, but it's got to wait obviously the 2 years. But yeah, it's just crazy how they've done it.
I just adding on to what Zinko's saying, like I just want to say how grateful like we should be, or like I am for that exact thing. Like the fact that in 3 months' time we could have a different map. And
it's crazy,
like items, and it's wild. It's like we are playing the same base game, but it is completely different at the same time. And I do not know. I just feel like every time something bad happens, or like people are upset with something, I don't know, man. There's no other game that really does this, dude. Like I just think we're so grateful, and it's free, and it's free. That's crazy.
I think we just get so spoiled by it that if we don't get something that we want, we end up getting a little bit, a bit antsy-pantsy over it. I think it's just the way it goes. But we do really need to step back and appreciate like how much they actually do for us.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just going to send one final thing as well. This might be a bit more for you, Zink, as well, because you're a bit of a Star Wars fan. But if you look at the Ahsoka, I always say her name wrong, Ahsoka logo, and then you look at the projectile projection, I know it could be a bit of a stretch, but her series is coming out very soon, pretty close to when the new season drops. So do you think we might have her in the Battle Pass maybe? Like it's very, very fitting. So
yeah. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. As soon as they brought the OB series out, I'm pretty sure they brought him straight in.
And we've had Darth Vader in the Battle Pass. The series is coming out. The logo projects with that whole astral thing. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. Might be a Battle Pass skin.
Wouldn't be surprised, man. That would be sick though. I'd be spending more V-Bucks, but yeah.
It's actually crazy the fact that we can throw these theories out here and they're not super, out of the blue. Like it's a genuine possibility that these things can come to the game, which is mind blowing.
Yeah, definitely. So like if you guys load up season 4 and you see Ahsoka in the Battle Pass, like I wouldn't be surprised at all. I reckon it's gonna happen. So
oh man,
it's gonna be sick. But that's just sort of a bit of a taste just to keep everyone updated on what's going on in that. But we will in a future potty, we'll definitely dive like right into what's going on and get some theorists in and stuff, because I'm not as big in theories either, so I need other people to be in here sort of that are really good at it in order to get it flowing. So but yeah.
And there's a good episode coming up then.
Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Stay tuned.
Hit that subscribe
Follow
button.
the podcast. Subscribe, follow on Spotify, all listening platforms. You know what I'm saying? Loot Lounge. Let's go, baby.
Let's do it. But anyway, this kind of concluding up our episode with the potty. Just want to quickly touch base on Oski and Zinc or Ben. Do you guys have any shout outs, any thank yous that you guys want to go ahead and do?
Just put me on the spot there.
I'll give you guys some,
Jaykey.
have some thinking time.
Shout out to the homiehood. Shout out to the homies that watch my videos all the time. Dude, I'm super grateful. I'm forever grateful. I'm grateful for Jaykey and Ben having me on this podcast. I'm grateful for all my creative friends. I'm grateful for I'm just grateful, man. I'm just grateful. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be in this position. Yeah. Thank you.
Love it. What about you, Zinc?
Yeah, probably on that. You, Jaykey, and Ben, introducing me to obviously Noski, even though I've talked to him before, but getting to know how he does all his stuff. It's good to learn off other creators as well.
For sure.
Just grows yourself as well as probably you grow as well, listening to other people. But yeah,
absolutely.
Big thanks to you, man. That's I appreciate that. And then mum and dad, appreciate my mum and dad, love them.
Love the parents out there.
Mum and dad.
Mum and dad, and then
wouldn't be here without them, legit.
Legit wouldn't be here. And then just me, small Twitch community. I love them. They're small, but I've made some great friends over the past year and a half. So cannot complain with that. Yeah,
it's great. What about you, Ben? Got anything you want to shout out, bro?
There's one person who's helped me with art in the past week called Ape Tax. He's just
Legend.
a legend. I had absolutely stuck on something, had no idea how to do it, put it on Twitter. He gave me like an essay, deep diving.
I saw that, that was real in depth.
I was like, you legend.
Yeah.
Absolutely saved me. And I'm actually so grateful for that. So yeah, shout out to you, Ape Tax. Also, I just want to shout out Recreational, or Rack. He's an actual lad and just has amazing positivity throughout like the community, and he's given me so many good ideas to help with my renders too. And he's just like an awesome dude. And yeah, go check him out too.
Ape Tax, I just want to say thank you to you if you ever listen to this, because he's actually, or they've been in the community for in my community for such a while as well. And just sort of like on the back burner, like hiding and lurking and that. And I've recently been like starting to join VCs and events and that. So I just want to say thank you as well for like sort of being in the community as well, and everybody else that sort of follows the journey and joins the server and listens to this podcast and that. So yeah, thank you. I love the ending. It's so wholesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've said absolutely 20 times this podcast. I don't want to count it from anybody, all right? I'm just agreeing.
Surely someone in the comments.
Get the counter.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Whoever guesses it or whoever counts it, you guys can get a 1,000 V-Bucks card. So.
Oh, damn, yeah, out the pocket. Put it on the company card.
Yep.
Loot Lounge podcast company card, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you guys so much for coming along. It's been awesome. And if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe and all that. And big thank you to Noski, Zinko, and Ben for being a part of this episode. And expect weekly episodes returning back again. Had a little bit of a break, so it was like we had family coming down. I was doing stuff and that, so it was a busy schedule. But yeah, things are going to be back on track. So as always, thank you guys so much for listening, and thank you to Noski, Ben, and Zinko again for tuning in. So yeah, bye guys.